Hi, my name is Hannah Punches, and I'm a child of God. So, I grew up in a Christian community in Fulton, Missouri. My parents met there and got married, and I am the youngest of 7 kids. I always believed in God and the Bible, but I never really had a personal relationship with Jesus. The community was very centered on the appearance of holiness and righteousness, and no one was allowed to have faults or burdens. In 2010, the church split up, and members of the community that left were actually excommunicated, so we couldn't see them, talk to them, or talk about them. It's like they never existed. 5 of my older siblings actually left the community. My parents weren't okay with cutting off their kids, so we would actually sneak out of the community to go see them. During that time, all of my friends had left the community with their families, and I was very lonely. I was just praying for my parents to decide to leave the community as well. What I would come to learn is that our prayers aren't always answered in the way that we think they will be. When I was 11, I was sexually abused for several months by someone that I was close to. I didn't tell anyone about it because I was scared of getting in trouble, thinking that people would blame me for it. So I eventually actually forgot about it. I forgot that it happened for several years. At that same time, there was a lot of tension between my parents and my family that had already left the community and the leader of the community. My dad wanted to leave, but at the same time, he was still committed to the life that he had cultivated for over 30 years. Eventually, the strain of all the conflict became too much, and he ended up taking his own life when I was 13. My family and my friends that had already left the community rallied around me and my mom and my family, and they actually moved us out of the community. So my prayer had finally been answered, but not in the way that I thought it would be. I was in a state of shock from everything that had happened, and by the time that I had actually processed it, I felt like it was too late for me to be sad and that I should be over it already. I didn't really have anyone that I thought I could talk to, so I just buried all of that. On one hand, I was devastated, and I didn't know how I was going to keep on living without my dad, like him being in the picture. But on the other hand, I was so relieved to finally be out of the community that I almost felt guilty because I had prayed for this. Like, I felt like it was my fault. It made me almost scared to pray again for a while because you never know how God is going to answer your prayers. A few months later, my mom and me moved down to Fredericktown, Missouri, and we actually started going to a church called Calvary. I met this guy named Owen Punches, and I joined the youth group there. I made some really good friends, and I actually started having a relationship with Jesus, and I had a close-up visual of what that looked like day to day. He helped me open up to the people that were around me. He placed certain people in my life that I knew I could trust, and I finally opened up about the abuse, about my dad, about everything that happened to me and how it made me feel. I had to relive all the trauma that I had been through, but I grew through all that pain instead of just trying to go around it. And I was actually able to find healing and forgiveness through time and work. I actually took a 12-step class. I just spent a lot of time in prayer and talking it out again and again and again until I was able to actually process all the pain that I had been through. And Jesus actually showed me that my life could have meaning and beauty and fun in life again. Jesus just really met me exactly where I was at. I didn't have to change who I was for him to love me. He changed me with his love. A scripture that really got me through is Psalms 23, actually. I know that it's everywhere and everyone loves that, but just knowing that he's always there with me when I'm in the valley of the shadow of death, when all these things are haunting me, causing me flashbacks, causing me pain constantly, feeling like I don't have control of my own mind. He is there, he is still good, he is still in control, and he's worthy of my trust and my love. He just showed me that I can trust him again and again and again. He just showed up for me through so many different ways. In all these periods of my life that have been super lonely, I've learned that Jesus is the only friend that I really need, and he's always there for me. Eventually, I joined the worship team at the church that Owen was working at, and I was able to find a lot of healing through worship and music. I made some friends that I now call family. You may know them, Joe and Haley Sanders. Owen was working several jobs at that time, and I had gotten laid off of mine because of COVID, so our finances were really taking a hit. The church that he was working at wasn't able to support us financially, so we started looking and praying for different opportunities, and literally a couple weeks later, our prayers were answered when he got offered a position here at Bonhomme. We were met with so much love and support from the minute that we've been here, especially when we found out we were expecting our baby girl, which here she is. This is Noah, the newest little member of our family. Throughout all the things that I've been through in my life, Jesus has always shown me that he is faithful and that there's always more, and the best is yet to come. The end.